Hi, I'm Chris with Elevation Wheel Company. I'm going to show you guys how to make sure your wheels are in good shape and ready for a big stage race like the Pikes Peak Apex.
Yeah!
So first you want to take the tension off of your chain by pushing in this little pin and locking the cage out of the way. And then once the tension's off the chain, it's a lot easier to remove your wheel. So then unbolt your through axle and then your wheel falls right out. First, I'm going to show you how to check your hubs to make sure they're in good condition. Real simple to test your bearings. You just want to grab the axle and spin it with your fingers. It should feel smooth with minimal drag. If it feels rough or dry or crunchy, you may want to take your wheel to a bike shop to have them replace the bearings for you. Another easy one to check on a lot of hubs is to make sure your free hub's in good condition. If your free hub gets too dirty, then it won't allow the ratchet mechanism to engage, which will cause your cassette to just spin forward rather than actually move you forward when you go to pedal. So for a lot of hubs, you can pull the free hub apart by just grabbing the cassette and pulling out on it. So you pull that off and then either look at the pawls or the star ratchets depending on your hub type. These are the star ratchets for a DT hub. Basically, you want to make sure these are clean, not packed with dirt, and then if they are dirty, wipe them down, clean them up, and put a light coat of grease on them. So for lubricant on your pawls or star ratchets, you want to use a lightweight grease or oil. There's a few different variations. DT has their own special grease. They literally call it special grease, or a grease like the Dumont-Tech Freehub grease. It's just a really lightweight grease that doesn't really get affected by temperature. So you clean it, put a light coating on, and then just slide everything back together like you took it apart. All right, so now that we know our hubs are in good shape, we're going to throw the wheel in the touring stand, check spoke tension, make sure your rim's in good condition, and just make sure everything's still true. So you can either shove a through axle through here to be able to put the wheel in the touring stand, or you can use a little adapter like this through Noble or one of the other manufacturers that make them. All right, so now we want to check the spoke tension to make sure all the spokes are about the same as far as tension. You can do a quick check by just grabbing pairs of spokes and lightly squeezing them, looking for anything that moves a lot easier or harder than others. These are actually pretty good, but we'll go ahead and fine tune it from here. An easy way to check the balance on your spoke tension is to pluck the spokes like a guitar string. You can hear that big change in tone where one's really high, one's really low. The higher tone is going to equal a higher tension, the lower tone is going to equal a lower tension. And you can confirm that with a spoke tension gauge like the Park or one of the others on the market. But for reference, that one was at around 17, that one's down around 10, that one's around 17 again. You really want to have the spoke tensions as balanced as possible because evenly balanced spoke tension is going to do a lot in terms of making a really reliable, durable wheel. To correct spoke tension being too high or too low, as well as looking at the spoke tension, we can go ahead and tighten or loosen the spoke nipples as needed. A lot of wheels don't have great lubricant on the spoke threads, especially if they've got aluminum spoke nipples. So I like to put little drops of oil on each one before I go to true them, just to make sure everything turns properly without stripping out. I like Tri-Flow, but any lightweight oil will work well. So the basic idea with truing a wheel is you want to use spoke tension to pull the rim straight. How you know which spoke to tighten depends on which hub flange it's attached to. So if you want to pull the rim towards this side, you're going to tighten a spoke that's attached to this flange. If you want to pull the rim towards this side, you're going to tighten a spoke that's attached to this side. So we'll go ahead and look at our indicators down in here and see where we need to make those changes. So it's rubbing on this indicator. So I'm going to tighten this spoke. You want to make changes in small increments. So a quarter of a turn at a time, and then just recheck it. So it's still rubbing over these three spokes. So we're going to tighten these spokes just a little bit, and then we'll recheck after with that. And now you can see it's not rubbing. So those are the basics on taking care of your wheels and getting them ready for a big event like the Pikes Peak Apex. If it's something you're not super comfortable with, then feel free to bring your wheel by any local bike shop and they should be happy to take care of it for you. But making sure your wheels are in good condition is really important for a big event because they see a lot of abuse on the trail.